Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, it's Cam with CB Tactical. I got another video for you guys today, and we're going to be going over the Springfield Echelon 4.5 comp. So, as you can tell by the title, this is just the comped version of the standard Springfield Echelon pistol. Right now, I have about 1,300 rounds through it, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the reliability of the pistol, features that the pistol has, and then I'm also going to be talking about a couple things that I'm just not a big fan of personally. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this review for you guys now. So starting off, we're going to talk about the build quality of the Springfield Echelon, which it is very good. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is going to be that single port that you have at the front, and this port is very unique, mainly because it's not only ported at the top of the slide, it's also going to be ported a little bit to the sides as well, which just makes it incredibly easy for you to shoot faster, have much faster follow-up shots, and just keeps the gun shooting very, very flat. And we also have really nice slide serrations up at the front. And what's unique about this pistol is towards the chamber, though there's some raised ledges on there. So if your hand does slip, your hand will catch on those ledges and just allow you to easily rack the slide. And it's also going to be like that in the back of the pistol as well, towards the rear. So if your fingers slip, you'll catch that ledge and you can slingshot it forward if you want to. Really nice. And then you also have really good sights on here. So you have a night sight at the front that's going to be a green post. And then at the back, it's a rear, it's going to be a U-notch with a little white outline. I'm not the biggest fan of the white outline. I just prefer it being all black, but nevertheless, it's perfectly serviceable and it works very well if you don't want to put an optic on the pistol. So when we talk about the build quality as well, I do have to mention the frame, and the frame is really good, mainly because you have what Springfield calls the adaptive grip texture. And what the adaptive grip texture is it's very aggressive, but it's not so aggressive to where it's uncomfortable and it just doesn't feel good to actually carry the pistol. And you got it all around the pistol. So if you guys remember, I did a review on the CZ P10C ported, and one of my main gripes with that gun was the fact that you didn't have any of the texture towards the front towards where your thumb lays and rests. And I wasn't a big fan of it. Not a big deal, but Springfield didn't do that. They have that texture all around the pistol. They even have it in the undercut. They have it in the front of the trigger guard as well, where your light's going to be. And you also have it on those ledges right here. So it's very easy for you just to have this pistol, and it just sits perfectly in your hand. And the grip texture itself isn't too uncomfortable to where you can't carry it and it's going to like dig in your hand, because usually with more aggressive grip textures, they can get very uncomfortable, and they can also mess up your clothes if you're going to be concealed carrying this, right? So also too, grip angle isn't the biggest deal when it comes to a pistol. I don't think it is personally, but nevertheless, the grip angle here is going to be a little bit more neutral than something like a Glock, and it's just very comfortable. It makes it very easy for you to get on target and point this pistol at whatever you need to, whatever you're shooting at. So really good. You also have fully ambi controls. Now, usually with fully ambidextrous magazine releases, they kind of suck, but over here on the Springfield Echelon, it's nothing like that. This mag release is really good. You don't have to change it to the other side or the wrong side if you're a lefty, and they are raised pretty high as well. But I never accidentally dropped the magazine with this, even though it is raised. So very commendable for Springfield with the way they did the mag release on here. And also too, you do have these ledges on each side of the pistol. So if you have a more thumbs forward shooting position, it's going to be very, very easy for you to keep that gun locked in your hand and shoot much faster. So I really do like that. And even if you're a lefty as well, you still have that, which is really good. Really good way they designed this pistol. I'm a big fan of it. So something that's going to be a little unique about this pistol is going to be the slide release. So the slide release doesn't kind of come out and go to the side like other traditional slide releases do. They more just sit flat at the top, and I didn't know how much I would like that, but I really, really like it. I actually prefer this so much more than any other slide release out there. I think it's really good, and I'm just a big fan of it. It's very easy for those quick mag changes, and then you can just send the slide forward. So what do you get when you purchase the Springfield Echelon? You get the pistol, of course, You get 2 mags, you get a 17 rounder and then you get a 20 rounder. You get all your hardware for the Viz mounting system. You get 2 different back straps, one's a large, one's a small. You get an extension for your 17 round magazine, making it 20 rounds. And then you also get the stuff you're never going to use. You get the freaking lock no one ever uses, and then you get a chamber flag. When writing this script, I did completely gloss over the FCU, and the FCU does deserve its own part in the video, hence this voiceover right here. The FCU for the Springfield Echelon is going to be one of the most interesting parts about it. And what makes that stand out is going to be the FCU is completely self-contained and serialized, meaning it's essentially the gun from a legal standpoint. Everything else, like your grip module, your slide, and the overall configuration can be swapped around that FCU. So Springfield calls this setup the central operating group, and it's designed to be very low profile and extremely durable. It sits very deep in the frame, which does help keep that bore axis lower and just overall contributes to better control under recoil. So what makes the FCU very interesting is the modularity around it. So as time goes on and the platform grows, you're likely going to see different grip sizes, frame options, configurations, all built around that core FCU. So instead of having to go out and buy a completely new gun, you can adapt the one that you already have to fit different roles, and it can take different types of grip modules. So one of those is going to be the Icarus one, there's going to be the Sharps Bros one, and then of course the ones that you can just get from Springfield themselves. It's a very forward-thinking design. It's really cool, and it's one of the biggest reasons the Echelon feels like a next-generation handgun. You're not just buying the pistol, you're buying a whole system that can change and evolve over time. So the main star of the show for the Springfield Echelon is going to be that porting at the front. And I do have to say, the way they ported this weapon is so well done. It's very good. And like I said before, you don't have the porting just at the top of the slide. You also have it to the side as well, which just makes this gun super flat shooting and just so easy to hit those faster follow-up shots. And it just keeps the dot so much flatter if you are shooting with a red dot. And you just can have so much easier of a time getting back on target shooting this compared to a non-comp pistol or a non-ported pistol. Now, how does this compare with some of the other pistols that I have? I have my Glock 19 Radiant Ramjet with the Radiant Ramjet. That shoots very well and very flat. It shoots a little bit flatter than this, but that's also a more expensive setup. And this for sure shoots much flatter than the CZ-P10C ported, and that gun shoots really flat. So it does incredibly well. This is absolutely amazing. Ported guns are nothing new to the industry. As more and more time goes on, more guns are just coming ported stock from the factory. And when you do introduce porting, there is a chance that you can compromise the reliability on a pistol just a little bit, especially if you're shooting much lighter loads that aren't as powerful or that aren't as hot. But with the Springfield Echelon, I didn't have any of that. I had 1,300 rounds, 0 issues. Nothing went wrong with this pistol, and it performed very, very well. I'm really impressed. A little bit more in depth on the reliability of the pistol. It's pretty simple. This pistol was very boring to shoot, mainly because I had no issues at all. I had 0 issues. I had 1,300 rounds to the pistol, different types of loads. So I shot some Herters, 115 grain 9mm. I also shot some Blazer Brass, 115 grain. I shot a little bit of Hornady, 147 grain. Ran perfectly well through this pistol. I had no reliability issues with it at all. Nothing. And that's exactly what you want from a pistol like this, especially if you're going to be concealed carrying this or you're going to be using this in more of like a duty type of setup. This pistol is just, it runs so well. I haven't had a single issue. I did hear about some issues with magazines kind of exploding, not being put together very well. Didn't have that at all with the Springfield Echelon. So I'm really happy to report this pistol ran 100% well for me. So another one of the big pros about the Springfield Echelon is going to be the Optic system and how they set it up. And I hope that every single company does something similar in the future, mainly because you can mount over 30 different kinds of red dots to the Echelon without needing some sort of optics plate. Now, if you have something like an Aimpoint Acro or the 509T like I have here, you're still going to need an optics plate. But if you're doing anything like an RMR, RCR, 507C, you're not going to need any sort of optics plate for that. So what this system is called is the Viz Optic system, and Springfield will send you a bunch of different screws and even like little posts that you can put into the slide, and you can mount your red dots that way. And it's really cool, mainly because the red dots will sit much lower on the frame or on the pistol itself compared to when you actually have a plate on there. So it just makes it easier to send those shots out further to distance and just be more accurate and stay on target a lot easier. So I'm a big fan of this optic system, and I really hope that other companies mirror this and push this going forward. It's just really good. I'm a big fan of it. That's one of the biggest pros about this pistol, outside of the compensator, of course. Because of that, you're not going to have to purchase any optics plates. You're not going to need that unless you're running something like an acro, of course. And that's just really good because most of the time when you are buying a pistol, not only do you have to think about getting additional magazines, getting a holster for the pistol, but you're also going to have to think about purchasing that optics plate, which could be around like $60 to $100 sometimes. So you save a little bit of money in that aspect. So that's really good because when you are trying to put together a system, whether that's for concealed carry or duty use, you're going to have to think about things like magazines. You're going to have to think about things like the accessories that you're going to want to put on it. You're going to have to think about, of course, ammunition to train. Most importantly, ammunition to train, right? But with this, you're just not going to have to worry about getting an optics plate for the most part. And that's really good. I really like that. Huge fan. So guys, we've talked a lot of good things about the Springfield Echelon. What are some cons? Well, the first con that I'm going to have is going to be porting itself or compensating a pistol. So when you do introduce ports to a pistol or compensators, it can cause some reliability issues. But my experience with this is it ran perfectly fine for me. It was very reliable, no issues. But that might be something you want to consider if you're looking to pick up any sort of ported pistol, and just understand that there can be some issues with reliability when you're shooting lighter loads. Another one of the cons is going to be the size of this pistol. So this pistol is the same size as a Glock 19 with a Radiant Ramjet afterburner. I'm used to carrying that, so this pistol is not a problem for me. But if you do want a smaller package, you might want to pick up the Springfield Echelon 4.0 ported version of this. I don't have any experience on that personally, but from what I hear, it's really, really good and it's very reliable. So I do like that. But if you do want a smaller size pistol, this may not be the best for you. And then also too, if you do want to run something like an acro, it would be nice if they did include an optics plate in there. Not the biggest deal, but still, it would be nice if they just added that in there so you don't have to worry about getting any sort of plates or anything like that when you do purchase this pistol. It'd just be nice to have. So not really a con, but something to consider. So I think the Springfield Echelon is going to be perfect for anybody who wants to use this as a concealed carry option. If you don't mind the size of the pistol, it's going to perform incredibly well if you want to conceal carry it, mainly because it's just so comfortable to carry with the adaptive grip texture on there, and it's not going to mess up your clothes or anything like that. Of course, if you want to use this for home defense as well, and then a duty application too. Now, if you are using this for any sort of defensive purposes, I do recommend, of course, that you train with it, get 1,000 rounds and just run it through the pistol. Make sure you're very well versed in it and you understand how it works. And of course, make sure it runs well for you. I also think this pistol is going to be great for someone who is looking for some sort of competition pistol. Because you do have that porting, it's going to be much flatter shooting. And then if you just want something to have fun with at the range, this pistol is going to be great for you. This pistol is so good because you don't have to do anything to it. You just got to add a light and add your optic and you're good. You're fine. With something like a Glock, you're going to have to do stuff to the pistol if you want some of the features, right? You can't always get it from the factory with a compensator on it. You might have to send it to get milled, right? With this pistol, you don't have to do that. And that's really cool. I like that a lot because it saves you money. It saves you time. You just put your stuff on the gun and just go and run it. So I really like this pistol. I'm a big fan of it. So guys, my final thoughts on the Springfield Echelon is I really like this pistol. I strongly recommend it for you if you want to conceal carry, you want something for duty use, home defense, competition, or having fun. Like, this pistol is absolutely amazing. Huge fan of it. The porting actually does help. So, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for the Springfield Echelon 4.5 comp review. Like I said before, I really love this pistol. I give it 2 thumbs up. If one of my friends or loved ones, family members came to me and asked me what I think of it or if I recommend it, I would say 100%. This pistol is absolutely amazing. Recommend it for you. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you being here. I love y'all. I want to thank everyone that helped me to make this video. I want to thank my subscribers. I want to thank you guys for watching, of course. And I just want to thank God for blessing me with the opportunity to make these videos and spread this stuff to y'all. So thank you so much for being here. I wish you guys the best. God bless you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.